Welcome to this course on digital marketing. Digital marketing is a huge topic that could go on for a long time. What I'm going to do here is introduce you to a couple of concepts that I consider important. This lecture should take somewhere between 20 and 25 minutes. First of all, when we're talking about digital marketing, we have to make sure you understand, and we all understand that digital marketing is about promotion or marketing communication. So that's important to understand that as we go. So promotion is where this digital marketing fits in. How do we communicate with our audience? If you look at the different areas um, of promotion or marketing communications, we have everything from social media to public relations and search engine optimization and search engine marketing, and then we go around to events, advertising. I'm going clockwise here to internal communications, television, radio, the website. So that's all these elements make up integrated marketing communication. That's all the channels that we have to communicate with our audience. So digital marketing fits in with actually most of these IMC, integrated marketing communication elements. I just want to show you something about this. I'm just going to throw this concept in here, that we have a really, really basic beer product in the US, Pabst Blue Ribbon. Some would consider it on the low end of the product scale. I just want to show you how through communication, a brand can be reestablished, in this case, internationally. I don't know if you've heard about, if you've seen Pabst Blue Ribbon. It's been around for 100 years, but it's really not. It's sort of lost in the middle of the market. And but this is Japan's Pabst Blue Ribbon exported to Japan, and they wanted to make it a high-end product, and here it is. So it just goes to show you what marketing communication can do. It can actually change the image of a product. And so that's a very high-end approach there, as you can see. So first of all, let's look at the difference between digital and traditional, the old school or traditional marketing. First of all, there's some similarities, and both digital marketing and non-digital marketing or traditional approaches to marketing include segmenting and positioning. You have to know who your audience segments are. You need to know your product. You have to know how it's positioned. And you also need to promote your products and services. So that's where there's common ground between the old and the new approaches. So, but the major difference is that traditional marketing is about pushing products and services. And as a matter of fact, if you were to talk to television advertisers, they get paid. Everyone is looking for reach there. Reach. How many in the available audience did you get your message in front of? So that's the way marketing has been judged. Marketing communication has been judged in the past. But the main difference is that with digital marketing, there's a two-way communication stream that is established, and that's important to understand. Customers and audience members today expect a feedback loop. They want to be part of the process. It's not just about shouting at them. So let's look at the website. That's one thing I wanted to go over with you here, is one of the cornerstones to digital marketing is your website. And your website is your storefront. It's what the audience sees first. It represents your brand, your product, and your brand. So it's important to have a quality website, a quality image that for your audience, your target audience, and for future audiences. But I wanted to show you, make one key point here, and that is that search engine marketing, that this is the one you see on top here, is it's an umbrella that includes pay-per-click, and it also includes SEO, or search engine optimization, on the right-hand side of the screen. What's the difference? How do they look different? Well, and this is the same company here. And on the left-hand side, you notice the little ad insignia. And you notice on the right-hand side, there is no ad insignia. So one is considered, you're actually pay-per-click. You're paying when the customer or the prospect clicks on this entry on the left. It costs money every time they click on it. It costs the company money. And in this case, it's Kohl's Fine Flooring. On the right-hand side, this is an organic placement on the same page. And the organic placement is it's important because, that's where search engine optimization comes in, doing all the things to optimize your website so it shows up on the first page of a customer or a prospect search. The right-hand side, if this was on the first page, it would show up organically, which is valued by audience members and by prospects. The left-hand side, anybody can be first if you pay enough. So that's what pay-per-click really is. So it's important to understand the difference between these two. But I want to make the point that search engine marketing includes pay-per-click and search engine optimization. Why is search engine marketing so important? And we're going to shorten that up to SEM. Why is that so important? Because it's sort of like, think of a plane taking off. If your audience members, your prospects are looking for a product like yours, first of all, on the bottom of the arrow, you've got problem recognition. The audience member has to, your potential customer has to understand that they have a problem to solve. They need a product like yours. Then the next point is information seeking. So then they're going to be looking to do some research, some Google research. This is where you need to be placed, because if you don't have a good placement of your brand or product on Google, and if it's not on the first page or early on the second page at least, you are not going to be found. And then you will not be part of the information seeking process, which means that you're not going to be, and the third point, you're not, the prospect is not going to be comparing you as an alternative. They're not going to be evaluating you as an option, and they're not going to be making the purchase with you. So that's how important search engine marketing is, that businesses need to pay attention to it. I wanted to show you this because with Kohl's Fine Flooring, that particular product I just picked randomly. You notice here, just like here, the very top placement is an ad. Okay. In other words, what's happening is this particular company is paying to be there. Every time it's clicked that every time you click on that, you're costing them minimum of $1 up to $5 per click. However, as we go down the page, you'll see these other entries are organically placed, because you see a little ad insignia, it's not there on the other one. That means they're organically placed. And now there's something to be said for that. They're there because they spent the resources to have a good SEO or search engine optimization. So let's look at under the heading of search engine marketing, we have SEO or search engine optimization, and we have pay per click on the right hand side. SEO has high potential and it's organic, more trusted by consumers. Pay per click on the right, um, you'll get the more traffic you want, the more it's going to cost you. So you're paying for each exposure to a prospect. Back to the left hand side, the cost is low on SEO, higher cost on PPC. Now, it's a little bit deceiving because it says low cost, but if you're doing SEO right, it can be expensive. It takes a lot of time and effort and labor hours to optimize your website organically. So it's not that easy to do. So you're going to pay more in labor to do that. With SEO, it takes a long time to see the fruits of your labor. You can start today, do all the right things, hire somebody to administrate your SEO and make a lot of progress technically, but you may not see the results for a couple months. So it's slower results. On PPC for pay-per-click, it's as fast as you can get the money into Google AdWords and get your budget set up. That's as fast as you can have high placements on a search. Like this is a real high level bit of information here. When I say that, I'm just going to kind of go over the highlights of this. SEO, search engine optimization, is there in the middle, and I'm going to go clockwise, starting with page content. Content for SEO, for effective SEO, the page content must be very good and it must be updated. Google's bots, BOT, like robots, is constantly perusing the every company on Google to look for quality in the actual websites. So they're going to reward high quality. So page content, and they reward content that is updated frequently, because they know that if it's updated frequently, it's probably higher quality content for the consumer. Keyword research. So keywords. What words do prospects look at or come up with and type them in a Google search to find your business? That would be keywords. So there's usually a combination of different keywords. So that's important. Social media is a signal to Google that represents quality. So if you have good social media, if you're updating your social media sites, and you have a following, that's looked at as positive for the Google bots when they rank you organically in SEO. Traffic monitoring, title tags, and link building are all technical things that, in other words, the technical part has to be done right. Each page on your website, you want your audience to go to, or your prospects to go to, the tags should be properly configured, that use keywords that are clearly developed, and then linking, it has to do with off-page SEO. In other words, how many sites link to your site? Google looks at that as they look at that as authority. The more sites you have pointed towards your site, that's considered authoritative, and that's a sign for Google to rank you higher. So all these things have to be done for SEO and more. I'm going over this from a pretty high level. The reason why I want to show you this is that this is search engine marketing facts, is that on the left-hand side, 80% of internet users don't look past the first page. That surprises people. So you want to be on the first page of a search. Many consumers don't want to look past the first page. They're too lazy. So And then another key point is in the middle. The top 3 results get up to 60% of their organic clicks. So the top 3 results um, in a on a Google search on a page that are organic, not paid. In other words, that ad insignia is not there. They're not using pay per click. They're using just SEO principles. The top 3 of those get 60% of the clicks, and overall, 70% of the clicks go to organic results. In other words, SEO as opposed to pay per click. Why is that? And the reason is because a lot of consumers don't want to click on ads. They'd rather just go to the best, even if it's 3 or 4 spaces down, they'd rather go to the top organically placed website because they know that that particular site has earned their right to be there for having quality. And now I want to talk about keywords here, because the there's going to be on the discussion question this for today, in this topics material revolves around keywords. So we have head terms, which are 1 or 2 word keywords. In other words, if you sell bed sheets, you'd want bed sheets probably to be a keyword. Now, it's going to be expensive to use that. It's going to be expensive to use that term bed sheets because there's a lot of competition for it. So that's something to keep in mind, that competition is something you want to stay away from if you can. Less competition, the better. The second point down is long-tailed keywords. And so think of bed sheets as a keyword because that's what you sell. It's going to be very competitive and expensive to use that keyword. But long-tail keywords are less expensive and more targeted. So again, if you're looking at long-tail keywords, you're looking at bed sheets that keep you cool could be a long-tail keyword. That could be an important feature to prospects. Bed sheets that keep you cool. So if they type that in, you will come up first because you've purchased, if you did, you've purchased that long-tailed keyword in quotation marks, bed sheets that keep you cool. It might also say sheets that keep you cool. You might want to vary it a little bit, but the longer the keyword, the better chance. And if a prospect types that in, you're going to have a pretty good chance of getting them. Here's another look at it that you're looking at high cost, high competition on the left hand side of the screen. And shoes would be the term with keyword shoes would be very expensive. So would men's shoes. But then when you get down to a long-tailed keyword, red Nike men's running shoes, if someone was using that phrase, you would come up first if you had registered that as a keyword. Red Nike men's running shoes, if you used it. So that's something to keep in mind. This chart shows you that on the right-hand lower part of the screen, higher probability of conversion, but there's less audience members. So that's sort of a trade-off you're going to have with long-tailed keywords. Now we're going to transition into social media. I'm not going to go over all these, but Facebook is the biggest social media platform in the world. And unfortunately for them, it's starting to lose some of its popularity, if you will. Although a lot of people, billions of people, 2.4 billion is over a third of the world's population has a Facebook account. However, many of those, especially younger people, aren't using it. They may not have closed it, but they're not using it. They're using other platforms, and here's some of them are listed. We even have the Chinese platforms listed here. Um, Weibo is one of them, and some other ones. Um, so anyway, these are you can read this. You can look at these later if you want to, but it just kind of shows how things fit. Instagram is growing faster than Facebook, and I'm sure most of you are more active on your Instagram account. Um, so here's some concerns with social media and marketing. Um, that 29% of people deleted or removed social media because they felt overloaded by it. So these are, what was the reasoning for deleting? Overload was number one. Addiction or wasting time was another one. Lack of trust, fake news was another one. Um, Privacy concerns was another one. These are all really important to people that they're concerned about. Mental health and well-being, I guess that's a byproduct, um, and others. But so these are reasons why social media is being questioned by a lot of people. And from a marketing standpoint, we've had some real issues in our business and other businesses when have clients and we help them with their social media. Um, it's getting harder and harder to reach them that way organically. The platforms have cut organic reach. It was in 2011 and in more of the early days of social media, you could reach 26% of your audience with just a generic organic post. Now it's 0.5%. So they're doing that because there's so much clutter on social media, but also they want you to buy more placement. On Facebook, they call it boosting. They want to boost the ads, pay a little bit more to reach more of your audience. Then I would want to go. We're not going to spend a lot of time on social media. I'm just showing you from a digital marketing standpoint why it's important. Remember, we talked about reach, how traditional marketers use reach as a gauge on how successful they are. But in social media, we want likes, comments, and clicks. So this is considered engagement. And then, so you have to have the reach to get engagement. So you have to have this first. All marketing efforts need reach, but then we want to take it. Reach alone does not spell success for social media. So then you want more engagement. But if you can get your audience to share content, that's the ultimate goal, because sharing leads to exponential growth in social media content. So, when one network sells to shares with another, with another, with another. So this is like, I call this, and I developed this as this is the social engagement pyramid. You'd like to get to the top if you can, but at least get to the middle part after you've established some reach. And now I think the most important concept for social media in our business is the 80-20 rule. So the 80-20 rules tells us is that 80% of your content should be driven by should engage people, should include their personal interests. It should be informational. It should be valuable to them. And only 20% should be promotional or sales driven. If you do that, you're going to keep more of your audience and grow your audience. If you don't, you will lose your audience. So if you oversell to your audience, you will lose them. 41% will unfollow a brand that shares, that actually 46% unfollows a brand that promotes too much. So they'll just turn you off after a while. But what they want is valuable. They want humorous content. They want educational, informational. I'll talk about, here's an example of it here. So you have, again, this is not a social media course, but it's an area that may not be covered in the social media course. I just want to show you the 80-20 rule in action. This is the Hotel Del Coronado. They have 160,000 followers on Facebook. And think of it, 160,000. So here they're selling, they're promoting. Okay, this is the 20 I was telling you about, 80/20. The 20 is, let's say, that's promoting your product. Here they're promoting one of their 5 restaurants. Here they're promoting a spa treatment. Now they have some engagement here, but not very much. So if you look at, the engagement, it's not very much. Um, it doesn't show what the reach was. But now when you look at interesting content to the audience, that where you're not selling to them, but you're giving them something they're interested in. This is showing Marilyn Monroe when she shot a famous video movie there called Some Like It Hot in 1958. It's posting a video that shows that. And then you're looking at a really great picture of the Hotel del Coronado from the sky. I don't know if it was a drone or what it was, but it was a great picture. But within a short amount of time, they had 809 likes up for this one over with Marilyn Monroe, and a lot of shares, 171. And this one, people like this image so much that they a lot of comments and 647 shares. So this number was going to grow exponentially. This was just the beginning of the post. So again, it shows you, I'm just going to go back for a second because it shows you the reach when you're selling something to your audience. And then this shows you the reach when you're offering them value, things they're really interested in. It's a big difference. So that's why 80% of your audience should be this type of post. The last point to this lecture is the importance, and this is something I firmly believe in, and my company believes in it, that companies should respond to their customer reviews, and they should manage them properly. And here's reason number one, if a company manages their customer reviews, and that's Yelp, Google, TripAdvisor, sites like that, if they do manage them, Google sees that as a positive sign for search engine optimization, and they can increase your ranking as much as 15.4% if they see you offering quality responses to your audience on and that's good and bad, positive and negative reviews. Another point is that 88% of an audience trusts online reviews as much as recommendations of friends. So they actually look at, the prospects and customers look at online reviews as much more credible than advertising. They look at it almost like a friend gives them the review because they trust fellow consumers. And then 97% believe that buying decisions are made by looking at reviews first. Think of the last time you've been on an e-commerce site like Amazon or even Alibaba. You're looking at the star reviews, aren't you? And you're looking for a good reviews, or you're not going to make the purchase. Now, I'm going to ask you to go through these in the interest of time, because I did post a static version of this presentation. We're looking at how a business responded to a negative review, and then look at how we rewrote it and responded to it. I would like you to compare the two. This one, you notice they didn't call them by their name, and they were also pretty defensive and negative, and then they just we just think this was a not less than professional way to answer it, because you got to think it's not just about saving the customer, which you're probably not going to do because they're pretty upset. You may not recover from this and get the sale, but others are looking. This was a Yelp review. Other consumers are looking at this. They want to see how professional you are, how friendly you are, and how much you care. So I'd like you to compare these two and sort of model this one, if you would. And here's another defense tone. This was a 1-star review. This was the initial review. The other one, I didn't show you the review. Here's the initial review. Here's how they answered it. Here's how we answered it. So I'd like you to kind of compare the two. Um, you notice we give them a hot link to an email address if they have any concerns, they'd like to have more dialogue. We don't leave them a phone number. Keep that in mind. And here's another bad response. We thought it was a bad response. Again, they left them a phone number, and they will never call this phone number, but they might click on a hot link to an email address. We figure there's, from a consumer behavior standpoint, they're much more prone to do this than call a number. No, they're not going to call. They've already been turned off by the company, but maybe you can, and this shows the audience outside that they care, and that's really important. And then this is how how to, a good way to answer a negative review. Here you could review that. I want to keep going here because I want to get to the end, because this lecture is longer than I wanted it to be. And then there's another way to answer a good review here. You can look at that. And then here's some best practices. This is the last content slide. Answer all reviews. Happy customers will feel valued, and perhaps it's a customer relationship management challenge where you could actually bring them back to you as they feel like you value them. Unhappy customers feel that the audience, that you care. And also the audience watching thinks says you care. Call them by their name if you can, their first name, if they give it. Call them by that's more personal. In some of the bad reviews that I showed you a few minutes ago, they never call them by their name. Always be specific, never copy and paste responses. In other words, don't just say, thank you very much, we appreciate your review, or glad you liked it, hope you come again. You want to show that you've read the review. So look back at some of the positive reviews that we answered. Use email addresses instead of phone numbers, like I said, a link to an email versus a phone number. Use their name, use the hotel name, or I have hotel here because this is a hotel deal, but use your business's name if it's a good review. Say thank you from the staff at the Lafayette Hotel, in other words. And then it's doing this as effective customer relationship management, or guest relationship in this case. Always answer the reviews within 24 hours, because the longer you go, the less it means. It means nothing if you wait a month to answer a review. They feel like the customer feels like you didn't care enough to answer it quickly. And I already talked about the 15.4% increase in ranking. I already talked about that. And then you can challenge unfair reviews, the last point. If a review uses profanity or uses racial slurs or something like that, and it's a bad review, you can have it removed. It's very possible to do that. So you look for things like that. On the right-hand bottom corner, 78% of consumers say that hearing from management about the reviews makes them believe the business cares more about them. So that's really important. That's why I'm on a personal mission to promote this. It's an important part of social media. It's an important part of digital marketing to manage the reviews. And if you do that, you can have higher scores, therefore sell more product. So to wrap up, there's going to be an assignment. An assignment is going to be about review sites. It's going to ask you to answer a couple of reviews you find online professionally, the way it's been laid out in this lecture here. So you're going to be asked to answer. That's going to be an assignment. And then the discussion question is going to revolve around search engine marketing and keywords. So you might want to review that in the slides link. And also, lastly, there's going to be a 5-question multiple choice quiz where anything is fair game. So thank you for your time, and see you in the classroom.